Hi, welcome to learnhowtogarden.com, and in today's episode of the 10-Minute Garden we'll be talking about what to do with a glut of tomatoes. And one of the best things you can do is make your own tomato ketchup. It's dead easy, dead quick. If you're not already subscribed to me at Learn How to Garden, there is a link directly below this film. Click on that, it'll take you to the website, input your email address, and it means we can send you out our free monthly newsletter, and it also means we can let you know every single time we put up a new film. If you follow us on Learn How to Garden, you're likely to end up with a glut of, well, quite a lot of things to be honest, but tomatoes is one of those things that towards the end of the season you end up with so much passata that you've already got frozen. You've got sun-dried tomatoes or semi-dried tomatoes under oil. You've got tomato sauce. But one of the other things I do, especially with having 4 boys, is I make ketchup. And if you make your own ketchup, trust me, it's nothing like that over vinegared, over sort of acidified one that you tend to get in a squeezy bottle. And you can either make a bog standard ketchup like we're going to do today, or you can make it slightly more spicy just by adding a chilli. And it couldn't be easier. We've got a kilo of these black plum tomatoes, and all we've done to these tomatoes, it's really easy, is we've cut them in half and then we've squeezed out all of that juice. And that just leaves all the flavour but none of the juice. So we've got a kilo of tomatoes, a carrot chopped and diced out the garden, a stick of celery chopped and diced, small onion chopped and diced, 150 ml of red wine vinegar. We've got a teaspoon of allspice, a teaspoon of mace, a teaspoon of decent sea salt, a teaspoon of whole black peppercorns, large bay leaf, nice pinch of cloves, and we've got 60 grams of soft brown sugar. And what's brilliant about this is that everything except the sugar goes into one pan. So in goes carrot, celery, onion, allspice, sea salt, mace, cloves. Take your bay leaf, and a trick is to just fold it 2 or 3 times. Don't rip it, just fold it, and that will release more of the flavour. Your kilo of tomatoes, 150 ml of vinegar. Pop a top on, and we just put that on and bring it to the boil. Once the vinegar's boiling, switch it right down, and we just simmer this now for 30 minutes. So you bring it up to the boil, reduce the heat right off. As you can see, the tomatoes have broken down. There's lots of liquid, even though we took the centres out. Pop on the lid, and we're just going to leave this now gently simmering for half an hour. So after 30 minutes, take the top off. You can see it's already reduced down quite a lot, but we want to get rid of quite a lot more of this liquid. So now 15 minutes with the top off. After 15 minutes with the lid off, you've got quite a thick sauce now, and what we now need to do is transfer this either to a liquidizer or something like this Pyrex bowl, and use a hand whisk to liquidize it. And while you're transferring it, make sure you get the bay leaf out. You don't want to liquidize this bay leaf in there. If you wonder what's going on behind me, I'm actually cooking tea at the same time as doing this, so I've got a tomato sauce going off and some meatballs at the same time. Who says men can't multitask? Mind you, they're all tomato based sauces, so it's not really that multitasking, is it? It's using tomatoes. You want to get all of this in to here. Take your hand whisk, get it right into the bottom, and just work through. Don't bring the hand whisk to the surface, it will spray everywhere. We keep doing this until we've got it as fine as it'll go with a whisk. One of the things you'll notice straight away is the colour. It's much darker than the ketchups that you buy, and that is quite simply because there's no food colouring in this, and it's made with plum tomatoes. Take a fine sieve, pour into the sieve, use the back of your ladle to push it through the sieve, and we're going to force all of this through this sieve. So I'll just get on with that and we'll come back in a minute. I've pushed all of that now through the sieve and it's really smooth. Back onto the heat, we take the 600 grams of soft sugar and stir it in. This is why you need a biggish pan. One of the things I learnt off my gran when making jam is as soon as you add sugar to anything, use a big pan. So this could take up to 5 minutes and the sugar will start to thicken it, obviously. Give it a really nice glaze and sweeten it right up. Don't walk away, you can't leave this. I don't expect you to watch me stirring this for 5 minutes. I mean, I would imagine that's slightly more boring than paint drying. So once I've got this to the consistency, I'll show you just the last bit. 5 minutes with the sugar in, and one way to test it is take a teaspoon, put it onto a plate or a container, let it cool for a couple of minutes, and then hold it up. And it wants to slide, but sort of be a bit gloopy. Do you know what I mean? Just a bit gloopy. It shouldn't be as thick as a jam. Oh, I wish you could taste this. It's just any correlation between this and the ketchup you buy is purely the fact they're both called tomato ketchup. And then into sterilised jars. Let it cool. I pop mine in the back of the fridge. Once this is opened, you really need to use it in 2 or 3 weeks. Which is why most people would put it into a smaller container, but with the 4 sons in the house, they will soon get through this. Just get rid of these little air bubbles. And then leave it to cool, flip the top on, job done. While I've been doing this, I actually made a tomato sauce with the rest of the tomatoes that were in there to go with some pasta this evening. If you've got some spare tomatoes, give this a shot. It really is a fantastic way to use up some tomatoes. Yours probably won't be this dark. Remember, we started off with very dark purple plum tomatoes, but it's rich, it's fruity, it's really simple, and it gets you to use up some more of those tomatoes that you've grown in your glue. Give it a go. I promise you won't regret it.